As an 11th grader, I had $150 in my pocket that I made out of my own hustle, out of my own work ethic. And I lost it all the same day. But this is not a story about me losing my money. It doesn't matter that I lost the money. It matters that I found out I was built for this shit. In order to understand me and how I ended up this way, you gotta kind of understand my family too. You gotta understand how my pops is. So when I was younger, my dad used to always give me and my sister board games to play. Stuff like Monopoly and Cash Flow 101 by the guy from Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And it's just like games like that, it kind of got me into this mindset of entrepreneurial stuff. You know, I didn't even have to read the book. I already know how it kind of worked. So I was just like into entrepreneurship. But I never really took it serious. I more so did stuff like different hobbies such as drumming, singing, planting, basketball, boxing, different stuff. Whatever you could think of, I did it. And then just like as I got older, I started trying stuff, trying stuff, trying stuff, trying stuff. Eventually, it got to the point where my dad he started taking me on these different photography gigs with him to do stuff, videography gigs with him to do stuff. And I started doing that with him. It hit 11th grade, and I was big into the Boondocks. That show, the Boondocks. I was watching the Boondocks. And there was this one episode, the fundraiser, and that's the one episode that changed my life. And I'm watching the fundraiser. I'm watching Riley how he making all this money selling candy and stuff. I'm like, yo, that could be me. At the time, I was a cheerleader. I was in the cheerleading team, and they was doing a fundraiser too. So I was like, I bet. I started selling candy for them, and I finished my first box. I was like, yo, they made so much money off of this. Let me go sell my own candy. So I was selling my own candy on the side, and I was really making money off of it, making money every day. Just hustling and selling my candy in the school, selling my candy outside of school, selling my candy anywhere I can sell it so I can make more money on the side, you know? And I went from getting $20 for lunch to working every day with $80 in my pocket or more. When I finally got caught, I had $150 in my pocket. And I was working at McDonald's so happy, just happy as hell. Just happy, happy, happy. I'm like, yo, I got this much money off of selling candy. Like, imagine what I could do with my future. Same day, I lost it all. Chilean coach confiscated it, and I was done. My operation was over. But it's like, that's when I knew that I had it. And I was like, nah, this is gonna forever be the one method that I use. Entrepreneurship is key. Entrepreneurship is life. Then I started doing photography. I actually got my first camera right here. So this camera right here, my pops gifted me this camera. At first he didn't want to give it to me, but this is the first ever camera we used on every gig that we did. So I started using that. At first, I was just taking pictures of like the city, street photography, stuff like that. And it's like I got more into it, and I started using it to make friends, to build bonds with people, to build connections. And I was doing all these photo shoots and stuff. Shoots for free, just shooting around anywhere I went, just taking pictures of people, pictures of people, pictures of people. I did a lot of free shoots because I always felt like the more work you do, the better you're gonna be in life. The better you're gonna be at your skill. The more connections you make, the more money you make. But I never made money till 3 years later. I started in 2017. I didn't make money till 2020 when I moved to Pennsylvania. When I moved to Pennsylvania, I got my first ever paid photo shoot. And it was only $35. And I was hesitant to even take that. So I was like, man, if I can make $35 with this, imagine what I can make in the future. It went from gigs like that to family gatherings, to proms, all these different gigs that I was doing, making money off of it. Gig after gig after gig. But it's like, it was never like a lot of money, but it was enough to keep me afloat. Always enough to keep me afloat. And my dad, he always tried to get me into these different business endeavors that he did. So he eventually wanted to partner out with me on one of these things that he was doing. I was like, okay, I'll do it. But we gotta have mentorship with it. Like, I can't just do it. Like, to do it, it gotta have a guide behind it. So I told him, like, this was right after COVID, right after I was diagnosed bipolar. And basically, the mentorship was over $5,000. And I was gonna put in my whole stimulus check just to pay for that mentorship. I was gonna put in my stimulus check, and then he was gonna put in the other half, and we was gonna do that mentorship. But my dad was combative; he was hesitant, and we was on the sales call. Everything, my dad wasn't with it. I was like, ah man, I don't know about this, so we didn't partner up. And after that, I tried to put him in on a business endeavor that I was doing, and basically what that was gonna be was a social circle kind of thing, like more networking, teaching people how to network, how to build their own high value social circle. And I was telling my dad about it. I told two other friends, and they all shot me down crazy. But what I realized through that experience was that it can't just be belief that you're running off of. It can't be just your vision, because you may see the vision, but others do not see the vision. They don't see the clarity that you have within it. If you're not able to communicate it, then it's as good as not having a vision at all. You know, you gotta be able to have execution and strategy and proper planning. But I realized I was mediocre at planning, at execution, and strategy because I wasn't able to communicate it well, and I wasn't able to execute it well, and I wasn't able to plan it well. I was giving people mediocre project plans. I was giving people mediocre communication. I wasn't able to properly explain the vision that I seen for what I was trying to do, and that's what made people not believe in me. It's not that they just didn't believe. It's not that I had to get to that point for people to want to believe. It's that they didn't have nothing to rely on. They didn't have nothing to believe in. I didn't show them enough for them to believe. So that's a major factor in why I lost a lot of self-belief. But self-belief is a lot of what you have to run off of. Because a lot of time people aren't going to believe in you. But you got to realize a lot of times it's not because the vision you have is bad. It's because it's not properly thought out. It's not properly communicated. That's why. So you got to put in the proper work in order for it to actually work. In order for other people to want to follow along with your plan. Yeah, part 2 dropping tomorrow. Stay tuned. Welcome to the 99 Grind.